Hello everyone, and welcome back to Infraspace. Last episode, our residents of Infraspace upgraded their homes to level 4 and are working their way through blue and green research with hopes of finding the answer to the age-old question, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Now chicken eggs come from chickens, but chickens are hatched from chicken eggs, so which one came first? Our residents hope to upgrade their homes this episode to level 5, as well as unlock yellow science to help them discover the answer to these questions. They currently have 75 level 4 habitats. In order to give us some workers to use this episode, we are going to increase that to 125. Let's get started. So everybody's leveled up to level 4. Gives us a total of 1,770 available workers. We're only using 800, so about 900 free workers right now. So that'll be nice. Now the residents have radioed up to the spaceship asking if there's a way to remove these rocks in their path, as well as some of them blocking the ore. And the spaceship said as long as if you can send up some green science and some computers and some nanotubes, we will build a laser cannon that will blast rocks from the space. So the residents decided to get to work on that. So we've built a spaceship construction facility that's used to send parts to space, and then a nanotube factory next to it. 2 of them actually. They require carbon, sand, and water. So we have some atmosphere processors for carbon here, 1 sand mine, and 1 groundwater extractor. Those will make nanotubes. All I got to do is go into the spaceship menu, click on laser cannon, and click repair. Now it requires computers and green science. I believe green science, we have completed all of the research required. So we no longer doing research right now. We've done all the blue and green research we can do. So we do have extra green science laying around, so that'll be used for that. And hopefully the computer production can keep up with it. We'll just keep an eye on it and see. You can see they're sending nanotubes over there already. The train will bring over the computers and green science, so that'll take a little bit to get here. But still no answer to the question, which came first, the chicken or the egg? So they've decided to add yellow science to their research repertoire. Now yellow science requires a lot of different products: neural processors, motors, green science, and methane. Let's start with neural processors. Neural processors require nanotubes, sand, and microchips. So microchips are already being produced over here and can easily be added to this train line. So what I'm thinking about doing is adding another train station over here with a neural processor factory over here, so that we have access to, and that way they can just ship them. Once neural processors are made, they can ship them back over here, and it'll be connected to the research center over here. So I think that's what we're going to work towards next. Okay, so here is the neural processor factory. Just dropped a train station into the line here, reconnected the lines. Have one-way roads, one coming into the station, one going out of the station, so microchips will be delivered here. Come down this road, go underneath the outgoing stuff, and into the factory. And over here I just have water and sand that's needed for the nanotubes. And then basically I have 3 sets of neural processors here, 1, 2, 3, with an extra one on the end. And then so this supplies carbon to the nanotubes, and then the water and sand come from over here. And then microchips will come down this line here. Now notice it's all one-way streets. So for instance, if this carbon processor has extra carbon, it can't send it backwards, it can only come down the line. So that's why I put an extra neural processor at the end to pick up any extra materials that we have available. It'll go into there. There might be even a little bit of waste on top of it, but we'll see how it goes as we start moving. So I've expanded the circuit area. You can see this last row down here is not getting any iron. That's probably because of my districts. I probably haven't touched them in a while. Yeah, it's outside the district, so all I gotta do is just extend the district a little bit. And now they should start getting carbon, or I'm sorry, iron and copper. And now the other thing to do is to add to this train line. Right now it just goes from here over to here. And you can see there's quite a backlog of circuits in here. So I shall have to add some more trains to the line to fix that. But first I want to, while it's paused, address the train line. So circuits to microchip. We want to go from circuits to the neural station. I don't know if there's a way to move these or not. So I guess we'll just add this one as well and delete this one. So that should work that, and then we'll just add another train to it and we should be good to go. And we've expanded the microchip factory a little bit. Nothing too exciting. We have unlocked highways, so I'm going to replace these. Now the difference with highways is you cannot have buildings off of it, right? So like this road in here cannot be a highway. Only the roads that have no buildings on them can be highways. So we're going to replace just the main drag here. Wait till all these circuits get unloaded. And replace them with one direction. See, they really cruise on there now, so that'll help throughput a little bit. Okay, a couple things to note. One, this neural processor factory is not going to operate smoothly until we unlock the better version of the carbon processor. So right now it's not to ratio, so it's always going to be short on carbon for a while. But that'll get fixed eventually. Then the second thing is we've already burned through 600 of our roughly 900 free workers. So we're probably going to have to expand the house situation again before we finish off yellow science. So I'll go ahead and do that. It's going to be something I've done a couple times before, so nothing to show you. And then the third one is, most importantly, we've unlocked the laser cannon. So the laser cannon, putting down more than one does not speed it up, unfortunately. I've tried. But so I just put it somewhere where I know I can easily find it, which is going to be right there. Then you click on it, and then all you got to do is click on what you want to destroy. And just like that, a laser shoots from space and destroys it. It takes a while, so you can line a couple up. But I like to get started on this early because it takes a while to destroy this stuff. So line them up early and often. Our town has grown. It's getting quite large now. We have 2,300 available workers. Or I should say workers total. We have 1,600 of them used. So it's getting pretty big. Big sea of buildings. Anyways, I changed up our circuit area a little bit with a highway system down the center. And then just one-way roads going this way. So incoming comes down the center, outgoing goes out the sides. Pretty simple, seems to be working. One thing to note too is you can click on these intersections and change where cars go. So if I want this lane to go straight as well, there you go. So now all three lanes can go straight through if they want to. So next up is the motors for the yellow science. Motors require copper and steel. So steel is going to require iron, so we're going to need a copper and iron patch. I'm thinking of doing it right over here. There's clearing off some copper and iron patches here. Build a motor factory here. We can tie into this train station here. Alright, and here's the motor factory. I try to balance the proximity bonus with keeping it organized. There's ways to get more efficiency out of these by proximity bonuses, but then it doesn't look super organized. So it's kind of a balancing act. I like it to look more organized than worrying about the proximity bonus. So this is what I came up with, some motor factories, steel factories, and carbon processors, the unfortunately outdated ones right now until we unlock the new ones, water, and more steel on this side. And that all leads into, there's a one-way track here that comes over to the mines, and then that all leads into the train station. So now the motors and neural processors can go around the loop and get to the research factory. Next was methane. Methane was done by pipe. You can see this yellow line, super long pipe, all the way down to the riverbed. Still going, still going. You can see it's way off in the distance there. Still going, down into here. So these connect up to some methane tanks. So over here we have a methane drill. We need a couple more of them. And then we can just connect them to the, I put some solar panels down here just so that I don't have to run power all the way down here. And just connect them up via pipe. You can see the little yellow ropes that hook up to them. That shows you they're hooked up to the pipe. And we'll run it down this way. And that should be hooked up. So you make sure we have enough power. Yes, we do. Actually, you can't tell from there. We got more than enough power. So these should be producing now. Not sure what. Oh, now you do lose efficiency by running it by pipe. I think it's like 25% or 33%, something like that. That you lose it probably because it's so simple. But in this case, it's impossible to hook up by truck because it takes, by the time the research lab requests it and it gets transported by truck or train, it takes forever to get there, and it really slows down production. So it's better to take the efficiency hit than try to transport it by truck. And this is filling up, so we know it's working. So next up will be the research labs. And that's our new research layout. A couple things I forgot to do on camera was, one, I extended the districts just so that we covered the whole thing. And then as well, I forgot to hook up the pipes. So pipes just come down the line here and then it runs down the street and hooks into the research labs that way. So we're good there. So now we can start some yellow science research. I'm going to do particle filter first. That's going to unlock the oxygen and carbon processor, so it'll cut the time of carbon and oxygen processing in half. So super handy. And as well as recycling, which basically gives you a 20% boost to most of your industries. So we'll start with those two, and then we'll come back and see what else we need. Next up on the list, I think, is going to be working towards upgrading our habitats again. I try to get them up to the max level, and that way we can start building a huge city. So next they would need good meals, home robots, and culture. So we'll probably work on that next. So good meals are have a lot of buildings, but are somewhat easy to do. It takes fertilizer into a vegetable factory that pumps out vegetables. The vegetables go to the meal factory, as well as meat lab, which produces meat out of nothing. That needs to go to the meal factory as well. And the only thing the fertilizer factory needs is sulfur. So we got to find a sulfur patch. There's a big one up here. I think we'll use this one to start with. Probably just put down a train station here and tie in the meal factory here, and then it'll just be shipped around to this train station and then delivered to here. Eventually I'm going to have another train line that circles this crater and delivers food to each side of the crater, but for now one side is sufficient for what we need. So let's start a meal factory over here. Food factory complete. A couple of things. I had to move the track over. It was here, I moved it over to here, just so I could split these two ores and not have the tracks run over top of the ore for future expansion. So these tracks can be gone. And the food factory. So basically I did a series of one-way streets So it's just this is the sulfur mine. It snakes around, comes down through, passes by the fertilizer factories. This is the new building we unlocked, a soil enrichment facility. Basically gives a 200% boost to these guys. So if you click on it, you can see, if I can find one that's operating, 232% efficient, so it doubles their efficiency, and they're getting a boost from the fertilizer factories as well. So that's nice there. So these are taking sulfur, pumping out fertilizer. The fertilizer is coming around the corner here, going into the vegetable farm. That's pumping out vegetables, which goes down here, around, and then into the food factories. And the meat labs are on this side. Same deal, they come down this way, go up and around and in, so that there should really never be traffic crossing each other. Now these green buildings are recycling centers. If you see if I can find one, if you go to put them down, you can see how it's blue here. If we come up here, these buildings are red, so they do not have recycling centers on them. That's why I left this gap here. So you can. So there you go. So now those are recycling centers. So now they only use basically 20% less product for the same amount of output. Basically, the way I understand it from reading on Discord is every 5th cycle it produces an output, but it doesn't take any input. So, for example, this one uses 1 copper and 1 iron every time to make 2 circuits. But on the 5th round, it won't take either of these in, but it'll still produce 2 circuits. So that's the way I understand it works. I'm not sure if it's changed since then, but that's what I'm going with. So that applies to most buildings. You can see by the red and blue before what the recycling center will affect. So then I pumped it into the train station here. Quick note, when I did that, nothing happened. I had to restart the game to get the pathing to reconnect, to show that there was a path from this station to this station over here. So sometimes a simple reboot might fix your pathing issues. But we also unlocked the carbon processor. You see we have a problem here. I'll have to figure out why home appliances aren't getting delivered fast enough. Take a look at that in a second. We've unlocked the carbon processor and oxygen processor. Before we were using this, it does both of them, but it takes 16 seconds to do it. This produces oxygen at 8 seconds instead of 16, so half the speed. So I'm going to go through real quick and delete all these atmosphere processors and switch them out for oxygen ones. I'll do that the same in every other industry, and we will see how much people it saves us. Right now we have 2,008 jobs. I'm going to replace them all, and we'll see how many jobs it took it down to. Alright, I got most of them replaced with oxygen processors or carbon processors, depending on where they were. Took our job count down to 1940. It was at 2008, so about 70 jobs we saved there, and I added a home appliance factory on top of that, so we saved a little bit more than that. So, good deal. Frees up 100 people to do something else. And then you can see, if I click on the buildings here, good meals are being delivered now to this town. So next episode we will work on home robots and culture and finish up upgrading them to level 5. I believe they're level 4 right now. Yeah, level 4 right here. So we'll finish this episode by watching the train deliver the stuff to the town. Comes all the vehicles delivering all the goods. I'll have to fix this road right here. I don't like how it's such a short road, so it glitches out a little bit. But other than that, it's good stuff. Everything's going pretty smoothly. Looking forward to building a big city.